have I been surprised by the environments anyway? Well, I think it's a bit different for, like Simon gave us his view a bit earlier. It's a bit different for us too, because I mean, Simon, sure you weren't that used to the bush before you came. But you know, I have been in the bush before, obviously not working in the bush and living in the bush. The environment, I think I'm starting to become more relaxed and a bit more calm. I mean, it's the nature of being here. It's beautiful. The skies are beautiful. It's open. It's fresh. It's clean. Everything is just the pace is just a bit slower. It is a very relaxing space. So I don't know if the environment has changed, but I think it's more the space. It's the space you're in, and how that environment creates that space. To me, yeah, I can go on for ages on that, but let me get to the comfort zone. Comfort things. A pizza oven. A big bath. Ice machine, Simon, I second you on that. I think various things, but there's nothing. I don't think we're really without anything. I have these few comforts, but you know, it's, yeah. I'm sure you can ask that to anyone. You know, is there anything else you want to make your house more comfortable? And we're all going to find a whole bunch of things. Yeah, but I don't know. It'd be good.
Sorry, I just, Pete, you mind turning that down? It was very distracting. Some sound that just came up there. Well, I'll answer it now. So let me just get back to around the fire.
One thing that I do want, Lisbeth and I both, it won't necessarily make it more comfortable, but will make the space, as we've been speaking about space and environments and everything. And I might just mention it live, so that we can get everybody in camp involved. We want a bit of a garden. We want a bit of a herb vegetable garden.
Yes, we'll certainly look at that later.
Okay,
on.
thank you. I've got it on.
We need to bird-proof and monkey-proof it first. Yes. Which, yeah, well, certainly. What was the question again?
Okay, let me ask you the question, because I'm not sure if anyone's going to ask you this question. You being the presenter, so let me take the role over just for a moment. Tony, who's on drive with us very often. I think Tony, you're from Bristol, England, if I'm not. Yeah, I think so. But in terms of how we has changed you, secondly in the environment, have you been surprised? I think that's and also the comfort. Is there anything that you would possibly want to bring to the camp to make it more comfortable?
Yeah, that's it. When I heard that question, actually, Lishan, that's why we decided to maybe answer it on the fire. And I'm going to try and keep it short. It's a very, very interesting question in many aspects. Obviously, as you can imagine. I mean, we talk about general life around here a lot as well. But firstly, if we has changed me or not, you know, obviously everything changes us. You know, going to the mall and coming back, or going to the shop and buying milk and coming back changes us to some extent or another. It's just time moving on. But yeah, I'd certainly say we has changes a lot. You know, I speak about it often to Graham as well. I've found that during the last, however long it's been now, 2.5 years or so, I've had a tremendous amount of personal growth in many different forms and aspects. A lot of my time and things I did building up to being part of this added nicely into sort of a collective experience to be able to do this. But still, once you're into an environment like this where there's so many things going on so many different levels, of course it changes you. And I think for some people it's for the better and some for the worse maybe. I hope it's been for the better. At least personally it feels like that. There's been an amazing and tremendous personal growth in the sense of working with different people in such a small environment. Obviously the wildlife itself, but also the way you share it, the way you have the ability to take people into that space and share it with them. But just sitting here now, I'm looking at so many different things. I'm talking to you. I'm looking at the image of what's going out, what you're seeing, being aware of this space again, and all those things play a role. In terms of how we has changed me, I think to sum it up and make it very short, is sometimes it's hard for me to really concentrate on just what I want to tell you, because that's exactly what I want to happen. I wanted to make some eye contact with you. Thank you, Simon. Because there's so many things you're aware of. You know, at some stage on a drive, for instance, just the personal in that moment. The moment's a big thing for me. You know, I have literally concepts of the moment tattooed on my skin. It's a very important to me, the ability to do what you need to do at the moment. In other words, communicate with you at the moment. To be able to talk to you and have a conversation is incredibly powerful. And apart from having learned a lot about technical things and cameras and everything from different connections to how you can portray signals and understand how that works, and the vehicle and wildlife itself, having learned something more about gorilla, for instance, photography and the ability to photograph more and differently than I ever did with guiding, all those things play a role. But I think the most important thing by far that I've learned here and that has changed me in a very positive way is a trust that I've gained with people from other places that you maybe have never met directly, but the ability to not only talk to them, but to get a feeling back from them as well. To sit here at the moment and know that suddenly we are having a conversation. A few moments ago we weren't. There were too many other things that were distracting me, but then to be able to do that is a very powerful thing. The ability to be live, if you want. Leishan mentioned earlier the live space is a very interesting thing that maybe down the line when I grow up and I'm maybe a little bit wiser and can say a few more things, I might even write a book about. The live space is incredibly interesting. Where we're sitting right now and the moment that we're sharing, the telepresence, which is actually the proper term for it, is a very interesting concept. Having the premise of wildlife is beautiful. I'm very passionate about wildlife, as you know. So for me to be able to go on a game drive and have 500, 550 people on the game drive with me as opposed to 3 or 4, and know that all of them want to be there, all of them are happy to be there, and all of them are interested, is a very special place. It really is. It's something that touches my heart often. Today we had a few questions from kids coming through, saying how much they're enjoying the drive, saying maybe a question, maybe saying, oh, Grandma, why is the elephant doing that? And then the question comes through to me, and that is something that you know, we get used to. But at the same time, every now and again, often actually, I sit back and I think just how amazing that is, the ability to do that. The ability that we can sit around a fire now and that we can communicate and talk about things that are close to us is very special. And it's something that I believe still do. I have from the first moment when Graham phoned me and I was driving along Beach Road in Cape Town and he gave me the concept. I believe that Wild Earth will become something massive. And it will still, in the terms of, you know, global massiveness, I think Wild Earth will be enormous. It will change the way we look at wildlife, literally. But that's not that important. What is important is at this moment, it is a very special thing between us, between me and you talking, between Leishan sitting and listening to us, and the ability to do so. And I think that by far has been the most powerful change I've experienced through Wild Earth, is that these things can be done, and that we can follow our hearts. And that's maybe on a more personal level, is that, you know, my whole life I've only done things I've been passionate about. I've not once in my life worked from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 for that matter, not a single day. I've always done something that I've been interested in and keen on, whether it was guiding or traveling or working in the fashion industry, photography, production, all those kind of things. It's always been very important to me to follow your passion and follow your heart. And it's nice to see that it's possible to do something and find something eventually that can give you all the different things that you might need. You know, maybe coming back to the comforts around camp. I don't need anything more around camp at the moment. There's a few things that would be nice. There's a lot of things that would be nice, both around camp and in our personal life. But I'm not worried about that. That'll come along. But to constantly do something you're passionate about and then find that these things can grow connectively or connectedly to each other is